So how do high levels of insulin cause impairments in brain function? Well, I talked about one already. There's this enzyme called insulin degrading enzymes. And if you have a high level of insulin to the point where you get insulin resistance due to elevated insulin levels in your body, well, then that insulin degrading enzyme is going to break the insulin and it won't be able to degrade the beta amyloid, which is its other substrate. And therefore, beta amyloid will increase and contribute to neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's, for example. So that's one reason why it can lead to brain dysfunction and neurodegenerative impairments. Another reason why it can cause that is because insulin acts as a trophic factor, and our brain needs support from these trophic molecules, such as minerals, nutrients, and even hormones. And insulin is one of those trophic molecules. And when you have insulin resistance, you're not sensitive anymore to that insulin levels. And there's a bunch of ways to make you more sensitive to insulin and prevent diabetes, like exercise, for example. But my point is that once you get insulin resistance, you no longer respond to that insulin. So insulin is no longer acting as this growth factor, as a trophic factor for your neurons. And it's not able to support their survival and their proper function. And so these neurons die via apoptosis. It's a cell death that's programmed. And so by not having that proper support, the neurons just end up committing suicide, right? And you get diminished brain function. You start losing memory, etc., etc. So not only you get an accumulation of beta amyloid by having higher amounts of insulin and insulin resistance, which can be caused by a high carb diet, for example, but you also lose that trophic support, which is very important for neuronal function, right? And so if you don't have neuronal support, the neurons can't operate properly and they just die off. And so that's how you can also get neurodegenerative diseases. So I made a video earlier about consuming your B vitamins to improve brain function. Another good technique is to avoid eating refined carbs. The carbs that spike your insulin the most, right, are those refined carbs. And those are two reasons why they contribute to poor brain function and neurodegenerative disease.